Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and the Las Vegas Raiders are 100% going to select a cornerback in the 2025 NFL Draft. The question is when and where? Today, I'm going to be breaking down some different options for the Raiders that are going to be broken down round by round. So I'll tell you who I would look at in round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The fact that the Raiders have 9 picks in 7 rounds really illustrates to me that they can go in a lot of different ways. We know Pete Carroll really values the cornerback position, and ever since the Raiders moved on from Jack Jones, which actually today I'm recording this video and Jones went through waivers, no 32 teams ended up putting in a waiver claim. He is officially a free agent. But because there were some people out there that were surprised that the Raiders were moving on from Jones, a lot of people have been wondering, well, what exactly is the Raiders' plan going to be? The Raiders went out and they signed Eric Stokes. You got Ja'Cory Bennett, and then there's still a lot of unknown commodities in that cornerback room. There's some talent, but there's still a lot of unknowns. So because there's a lot of unknowns, I could see the Raiders going out and selecting a corner. And I would say depending on how confident you are in this cornerback room is going to depend on when exactly you want the Raiders to take a corner. So the number one question that I want the nation to answer from today's video: what is your confidence level in the Raiders cornerback room? Just the corners, not safeties, not defense, just the cornerback room. Scale it from 1 to 10. My answer and my confidence in this cornerback room right now is this. I'm going to say it is a 5. And I say it is a 5 because I do believe Ja'Cory Bennett is going to take another step forward here in year 3. The Cameron Richardson, I don't really know what we're going to get. But that number is higher because I believe in Marcus Robinson. I believe in Patrick Graham. I believe in Pete Carroll. But a lot of unknowns. We need to add some talent. We need to add some competition. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's first look at the corners that I would target if I was the Raiders. And every corner that you see on today's show does have, in some shape or form, some sort of connection with the silver and black. To me, there's only 2 corners that you can look at in round 1 at pick 6. And even with me saying that, I think looking at both of these corners at pick 6 is a little bit early if it was up to me. Personally, I would rather you trade back and then go out and target a guy, maybe like a Will Johnson, who's got a top 30 visit with the Raiders. He's got a formal combine meeting, and when he tests out his hammy, which he's going to test that out on a week from today that I'm recording, so that is what, April 15th? The following day, the very first visit he's going to take is going to be with the Las Vegas Raiders. And we know Pete Carroll loves big, long, athletic corners. His biggest weakness is his recovery speed, but this guy makes plays on the football. He's been working with Charles Woodson, has that Michigan tie. Another corner that the Raiders could potentially look at is Jahdae Barron, who met with the Raiders at the NFL Combine. This is somebody who's a true Swiss Army knife. He played outside. He played in the slot. Played in the box as well as a dime linebacker for Texas. So if you're somebody who values versatility, which Patrick Graham values versatility, I do think that he's somebody that's maybe a little bit quicker than fast. Great eyes, great instincts, can play up against the run, can stop the pass, can do a lot of great different things. But I would say the only 2 corners that the Raiders could take in round 1, Jahdae Barron and Will Johnson. Let's go to round 2. And this to me is maybe where you're going to see a lot more names because there's a lot more potential. And round 2 corners is kind of one of the reasons why I want the Raiders to trade back. First name I'm going to bring up here is Benjamin Morrison. Had a top 30 visit with the Raiders. Met with him at the Combine. Love his ability to make plays on the football. 9 interceptions in 31 games played with the Fighting Irish. Does play bigger than his size, competitive toughness, and you can see the toughness. You can see how competitive he is, and you can tell that this young man loves football, which is really important for this new regime. Another corner that has been growing on the Raiders' radar, I'm telling you this right now, is Trey Amos, cornerback from Ole Miss, who met with the silver and black at the NFL Combine. Love his instincts and ball skills. He is always around the football, and if you are a coaching staff that believes in your ability to coach, I do think Trey Amos has a lot of upside. He also showed improvement in his coverage game every single year. When you're playing in the SEC and you can get better and better, Trey Amos, I would love at pick 37. Let's go to another name here that has been maybe forgot about a little bit. Shavon Revel Jr., cornerback from East Carolina. He met with the Raiders at the Combine. He's got NFL traits. That speed and body length fit what Pete typically looks for in a corner. I mean, this guy's like 6'3". He's long. He's lanky. Kind of looks like Richard Sherman. I'm not going to lie to y'all. tore his ACL in September this past season, is healthy, and is going to be ready to go by the start of the regular season. Let's go to round 3, pick number 68 here for some of the corners that the Raiders could target on this round, right? And I would say day 2 is going to be the day that I am the most locked into seeing which corners could potentially go off the board. One name that I'm starting to do a little bit more homework on is Darien Porter, and this is kind of the time of the year where I'm starting to get in more of like the round 3, round 4 type of prospects, and he is a freak athlete. NFL comp is Tariq Woolen. The Pete Carroll drafted Tariq Woolen out of UTSA. He did make his first start, though, at corner in his 6th year of college football this past season. Has played wide receiver in the past, and he was just an athlete, so they were like, all right, let's get this guy on the field. Because of his just insane athletic ability, that speed, the acceleration, worst case scenario, he's a really, really good special teams player. I know you don't draft a really good special teams player in round 3, but Darien Porter is a project that does interest me a lot. If you're looking for more Raiders draft videos, hell, I've put out a video around other running back targets, other wide receiver targets. And if you're looking for more Raiders draft content, man, we are a few weeks away from the big day. Make sure you're subscribed to the Raiders Report. We're about to be pumping out even more draft content. Let's go to round 4 here at pick 108. Some of the corners that I have in mind here in this round, and there's some good value to be had in round 4. There's some really good value to be had in round 5. Probably one of my favorite corners in this year's class based on value. Nohl Williams from California. 14 career interceptions, 7 this past season. I do think that he's probably built better to be a press man corner. He's still good in zone. And the fact that when you watch his tape, he shows you good tape in man and he shows you good tape in zone. That is a really versatile thing that he brings to the table. Really tough player, I'll admit. Not the best athlete in terms of just a corner, but Nohl Williams is really good against the run. Maybe not really good against the run. He wants to be good against the run. And I would say for cornerbacks in the NFL, there are guys that want to be good against the run, and then there are your Jack Joneses, Olays, Marcus Peters, Olays, where they're like, I'm making a business decision, and I don't want nothing to do with the running game. Nohl Williams wants to be great, and you can tell that he wants to be great. Coming up, I love the cornerbacks that you could potentially get in round 5 of the 2025 NFL Draft. Now, again, if you go this far and you don't have a corner, I'll admit, I'm getting a little bit worried, but I do think that there is some value in round 5, and I'll tell you who those players are here in just a moment. But a huge shout out to Game Time, the official ticketing sponsor of the Raiders Report. And if you're looking for last-minute tickets, if you're looking to go to an NBA game, an NHL game, maybe a future Raiders game, Game Time is the place for you. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. I love the curated deals. This makes it easier to find the best price on great seats. The Super Deal. The Super Deal is really elite because you can get the best value out there. If you're somebody like me, when you walk into a store, the number one thing that I look for is I go to clearance rack. I'm not afraid to admit it because before I spend all of my money, I at least want to know if I can get a good deal. And that's how Game Time is structured. If you're planning on visiting a city where maybe you're planning on, visiting Las Vegas, you go to Las Vegas and there's a lot of stuff to do. You could check out different artists. Chugs was able to get tickets to Adele. You can see different events. And because Vegas is a city where there is just so much to do, the last thing that I want to do is get a ticket to something and then realize that I could actually be doing something else that's a little bit more in my price range or something that I would just rather do. If you're planning on going to Las Vegas this year, I definitely believe that you need to download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS. Download the Game Time app today. And if you're wondering what time is it, it's game time. I promise you. That link's down in the comments. It's down in the description of today's show. Let's go to round 5, pick 143. Some of the corners that the Raiders could be looking at in this type of, area. The first name I'm going to bring up, I don't know if he's going to be available in round 5. However, though, I'm not taking him in round 4, and because he had a bad NFL combine, he could slide down a little bit, but because he had a bad combine doesn't mean that he's a bad player. Some guys just aren't built for the underwear Olympics that is the combine, and some guys, when you watch them on tape, they give you a lot of intangibles. And one of the intangibles that Cobee Braynt, cornerback from Kansas, gives you is tough player who loves to show up against the run. And there's going to be games, there's going to be situations where we need a cornerback that we can count on in the run game. I also think that the athletic ability does limit him in man a little bit. If you're looking for somebody who can come in and play zone from time to time, Cobee Braynt is an interesting name to keep in mind. This young man here, Zah Frazier, is one player that I really like, and I'm happy that the Raiders are having a top 30 visit with him. And one of the things Chugs and I were joking about before the show started, we were like, I wonder if Pete Carroll has a thing for UTSA corners. And earlier on the show, I talked about Tariq Woolen. Pete Carroll loved Tariq Woolen out of UTSA. And Zah Frazier is not the athlete Reek was, but still kind of fits in that mold of tall, long, very fast, 15 pass breakups, 6 interceptions in 2024. Is a little bit older. He turns 25 in October, and he started for only one season at UTSA. If you believe in your coaching staff, and if you have a pedigree that can build corners, Zah Frazier needs to be on your list. Let's go to another player that I've just started watching recently, and I got to tip my cap here to Tom Downey because Tom goes, I think actually Caleb Ransaw is a player that Raider Nation would fall in love with because he already looks like an NFL defender in terms of how he's built and how he's just a little bit more like filled out. Very often some players coming out of college, you're like, he still needs to grow into his body. He needs to, turn into a young man. But he is a terrific big nickel. And for a team that wants to be able to use somebody in the nickel, in the slot, and when you see like a lot of the corners that the Raiders have right now, a lot of outside guys, you want to add a physical dude that can play up near the line. And for a team that values toughness, for a team that values versatility, you're going to like Caleb Ransaw a lot. And also, my biggest knock on him is I do think he could struggle in man in the slot against some of these quicker, twitchy type of receivers. But imagine somebody that brings you that dog mentality like Amik Robertson. Not as athletic as Amik, but definitely more physically just stout than Robertson. Caleb Ransaw in round 5, really solid value there. In round 6, we have 3 picks, 180, 213, 215. I'm not really going to go take much of a deep dive just because corner, you can see it from time to time and slide. Here are 4 corners that if the Raiders, you told me, took a corner in round 6, this is me just doing my best to take a guess on who that could be. Denzel Burke because of his ties with Ohio State. Quincy Riley from Louisville is going to be somebody I'll throw out there. Jaylin Smith from USC. And then O'Donnell Fortune, the cornerback from South Carolina. Before I tell you who's round 7 players, because there is one player that I could see the Raiders targeting at corner in round 7 because of his coaching connection. We know how important coaching connections are. I do got to give a shout out though to Joey Mata, Dylan Erickson, Malachi Muhammad, and then I believe that's Alex, or I don't know, for being a part of the Notre game. You're subscribed. You got those notifications turned on, and I've been telling people I am going to start giving more and more love, more and more shout-outs to people that take time out of their day to let me know they're a part of the Notre gang, because that is the biggest thank you that you could possibly give me and Chugs on this show. Let's go to round 7. Pick 222 of who the Raiders could look at, and at this point in the draft, I would look at special teams. I would look at coaching connections, and the name that I'm going to throw out there is going to be Jason Marshall Jr., cornerback from Florida. Because our defensive quality control coach, his name is B-Ra Rasul, coached him last year at Florida, that's the reason why he's on this list. He is a first-year coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, offers good size, has some experience, and is an athletic player. I'll tell you this right now. He is the definition of a project player because his awareness, it might be one of the lowest awarenesses that you could see in college football. Really, really struggles against play action. But the way that I would look at it, Jason Marshall Jr. is somebody like a Lonnie Johnson Jr., somebody where you know is a physical and probably just going to have special teams value. That's what Jason Marshall Jr. is. Though, if he can get his shit together and with our coaching staff, he does have some upside because he is a really good athlete, but probably just going to be a gunner and special teams guy. If you want to tune in with Jeremy Chugs and I for the NFL Draft, reminder, we will be live all 3 days, all 7 rounds. Last year, we were live for almost 21 hours, and we had close to 300,000 people tuned in. If you made it this far in the video, and you probably want to check out some other prospects that the Raiders could target in each round, this is a video which you can find down in the comments and the description of today's show. Wide receiver draft targets in each round. Also, running back draft targets in each round. I'm going to put out more videos the closer we get to the draft. We're going to talk about offensive linemen. We're going to talk about quarterbacks. I did corners today just because of the recency of the Raiders moving on from Jack Jones. And I just had so many people asking me, what are the Raiders going to do in the draft to help replace Mr. Jones?